Morning, everybody. How y'all doing? How you doing? Welcome to Monday morning talk with Jarrett. Talk awesome. Today, I'm normally going live on my daily live this morning, but today I had to ask my one of my teachers from Druid Hills to be on my channel because this is her first time ever being on my channel and look to my world, and she actually accepted. So I want to appreciate Miss Goff to come on my channel, take her busy schedule off. Miss Law, I'm glad you come. I'm glad you came to my channel. Welcome to my Jed Talks interviews.
Thank you for inviting me, Jared. I haven't seen you in a while, but you look exactly the same. You haven't aged at all. You look
Well,
just like you did when you were in high school.
this face will never get you.
Never, ever, ever at all.
For start, tell people that don't know about you, how you started, and everything else.
Okay. Well, yeah, my name is Tamara Ross. I'm a former teacher at Druid Hills High School in DeKalb County. Um, I was what you call a mid-year start. I had always wanted to be a teacher. I always knew I wanted to work with students, and so I went to Georgia Southern University, and I graduated in December of 1998. And in my last year, like that November, December, I was looking for a job, and I was going to the different districts, and they're like, "Oh, we don't have any mid-year positions," and I was kind of getting discouraged. But then I went to the cab, and they said, "Well, we have a position available at Druid Hills High School." So I went to my car. This is when cell phones first came out. So I go to my car and I called them. And I was like, "Well, I would like to set up an interview for your position." They said, "Can you come today?" And I was like, "I can come today." So 20 minutes later, I remember meeting with Dr. Meriwether and Miss Woodall, and they took me on a tour of the building. And but by the end of the interview, maybe like an hour after being at the school, they offered me the position to start in January. So I started teaching at Druid Hills January 4th, 1999. I hadn't even, the ink wasn't even dry on my diploma yet. Like it was all still fresh. And I stayed at Druid Hills teaching high school math until January of 2024, exactly 25 years. And then I got a promotion to a new position. I'm what you call a professional learning facilitator. I train teachers and principals on work and host workshops for the district now. And that's where I am.
Were you nervous when you try to apply for that job? Was it nerve wracking when you try to get that job, and when you try to get to know the students at
Yes,
first and all that stuff?
yes, it was extremely nerve-wracking because even though I was out of college, I still look like I still like a student. As a matter of fact, I started on a Monday, it was a teacher work day. I came in that Friday, I was leaving the classroom, and I'll never forget, Coach O'Neill was across the hall from me, and I was
Mhm.
walking out the door, and he asked me for a hall pass. He was like, "Young lady, where's your pass?" I said, "I work here." He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. We hadn't had a faculty meeting to introduce me or anything." And even up until about, I want to say, gosh, I've had three principals since then. I want to say even up until like 2008, 2009, they were still walking in the classroom talking about, "Where's Miss Ross?" I'm like, "I'm right here," because I would be sitting with the students and they could never find me. So, it was nerve wracking because everybody was taller than me, bigger than me. Um, my oldest student, I was 22. My oldest student was 19. So but I just had to go in there and push and fight and pray and was like, "Lord, just let me make it through today." And that was the prayer every day until I finally, got used to being a teacher.
So who do you have any mentors or guidance or who pushed you get you where you at right now?
I do. It all started in my elementary school teachers were great. One I actually even keep in contact with now. But my third grade teacher, Mrs. Bearfield, told my mom, um, if she wants to be a teacher, let her be a teacher. Don't try to discourage her from that. People would tell me I wouldn't make any money as a teacher. I felt like they felt like I could do more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then my teachers in middle school pushed me. one I would school her daughter, Miss King. Miss King was shorter than me. She used to walk around with this yardstick and she knew her math. And I was like, that's what I want to be when I grow up. And then my calculus teacher in high school, she helped open the door for me. Like I knew math, but I didn't understand it. And so
Mm-hmm.
she would open the door for me to help me completely understand. And then once I became a teacher, just my principals pushing me, Dr. Patrick, he was Mr. Patrick then, Dr. Cunningham, Miss Adamson, they pushed me into, roles and positions and taking leadership. And so they helped me along the way.
When they I know what you said when you talked to your mom about it. What your mom tell you that did your teach? Oh, let me put it away. Did your teachers when you're younger ask you like what you want to be when you grow up in like 5, 10 years or
It was always a teacher. It was always
man?
a teacher.
So if you okay, I'm picture this way. If you weren't a teacher, I know you're. I'm not saying one of the greatest teachers I've ever known. I'm not gonna put you in the hot seat, but do you what will you do you ever realize that in middle school you would say, oh, I'm put it this way. Did your mom ever give you any advice about being a teacher, or do you have any other idea? Do you have any other um occupation if you weren't being a teacher?
So my parents didn't go to college. So it was, they were just like, if you want to be a teacher, I think you got to go to college. And so we're just going to push you to do your best. There was a brief time in high school when I wanted to be a pediatrician.
Mm-hmm.
Then I changed to a nurse. Then I was like a pediatric nurse. And I went to my grandma, who I was extremely close to, was in the hospital. And I saw them draw blood. And I was like, nope, that's it. Nope, nope, nope. We're not going to do this because it was like, mm-mm,
You,
can't do the blood. And
you tell
so that's
them
when I
tell
went
them
back.
news.
Right. I was like, that's when I went back to say, okay, I'll be a teacher.
Wow. I mean, you were like you seeing blood, you seeing being a teacher, a doctor, a nurse, anything that absolutely not. I'm gonna be a teacher. That's found. That's shit. There's nothing else going through, huh? So
Mm-mm.
ever
And
since you,
even with that, I wanted to be a pediatrician, or I wanted to be a nurse who worked in pediatrics. Like I still wanted to work with kids. My passion to work with kids was still there. No matter which field I went in. But after that visit to the hospital with her, I was like, nope, I'm good. We're gonna stick to the education.
were you, was that your, was teaching was your first, thing, or was it being a nurse was your first thing? What was your first, um, thing when you, was it a teacher or a nurse being when you started
A teacher.
a teacher?
It was a teacher. Yeah, it was. As a matter of fact, the funny part is it was a middle school teacher. It wasn't high school. I wanted to teach middle school math or middle school science. And they were trying to make me take some class, and I was like, I don't want to take that. And so I left middle school and went to elementary. And so I was working, doing some volunteer work at the elementary school that we had on campus at Georgia Southern. And this sweet little baby asked me to tie his shoes. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And his shoelaces were wet, but the sun was out. And I was like, I don't know why these shoelaces are wet. I was like, so I don't think I need to do elementary school. So my next door neighbor told me, she was like, you are really good at math. I was like, no, I'm not. She said, you are. She said, you sleep in math class. I was like, that's because I need a nap. And so she told me just to try math and see what happens. And math stuck.
Was that, did you take that and when you growing up in high school, middle school? What was math part of your idea?
No, I hated math, specifically geometry. I hated math. It was not until um when I was in 10th grade, I think, we were working some math problems, and my best friend, one of my best friends who went on to be valedictorian, I said, what does this letter X stand for? Where are y'all getting these numbers from? And she
Mm-hmm.
said, we were graphing, and she said, you just picked any X you want and solve for Y. And it's like the whole door just opened. That blockage that I had about not understanding math just kind of made sense to me then. And so it just started to fly. But I still hate geometry. I hate it. I hate to teach it. I hate to have to deal with it. I still hate geometry.
Yeah, I know you said with it, math and geometry. I can't even say the word right. Was it first thing when you first took it? It was, it was that hard. Wow. So after you doing, um, getting focused on everything else and you becoming a teacher, who was your very first person that you actually, someone introduced to you to your class? Who was the first person who they took to your class and like, hey, this your teacher, and you're
Who
like,
did that first? It was who took me to my it was Miss Woodall, who was assistant principal, took me to meet Mr. Fears, who was a math para. And Mr.
mm-hmm,
Fears is now a counselor in another district. But Mr.
mm-hmm.
Fears is who introduced me, and I sat in with him. And he told me, he said they can't keep a sub in this classroom, and I was like, oh no, they gonna if they run away subs, they can run me away. But he first introduced me to all my classes, and he stayed with me like that first week, and then the next week it was you got to figure it out and go on your own.
And ever since then, you were acing it back to back, huh?
I
Hey,
have.
when you
I've just not acing it. Every year has not been the greatest. There's been some times when I was like, I quit. I don't want to do this job anymore. Even my
I
first
would just
year,
ask you, I would just ask you that question. Where you like you about to sit there and like I ain't gonna do this no more. You think about quitting in the middle of class.
it was never a class. I would never let it get to the point of where it was in the middle of class. But by the end of the day, I was over it. I was like, I gotta go. This is not the school for me. This is not the job for me. I have sat in my classroom and cried. I have sat in my car and cried because I didn't want to go in the building.
Right.
But then I remember why I did it, and I would just say, Lord, give me strength, and just go on in. And then eventually it became I don't want to leave because I love this school so much. And so when I left Druid Hills, I cried. I cried all after, like, anytime anybody came by and said, "Oh, we're gonna miss you," I would start crying. But now being away from the classroom, I miss it a little bit, not a lot. I like my job.
Be
I like what I
honest. Be
do.
honest. Do you really miss Drew Hill? Be honest. Look. Be honest. Be honest. Do you
It
really miss Drew Hill being around your class and being on
I
those?
I miss the
Come on, man.
interaction with the students. I literally go up there at least once a month because my best friend still works there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm up there after school once a month, or during the month I'm meeting with the math team, working through some stuff with them. Um, I may be going up there this week to help a math teacher with some stuff for next year. So, I don't miss the workload of grading papers and writing tests and stuff like that, but I do miss being in the mix with students. I
What
miss the
the?
fun stuff.
I know you do. What the? Okay. Let's get down. What the good thing being a teacher, and what the, put it this way, part of the con being a teacher
Let's
in
see. The
general.
the good thing in general is just meeting new people. Like watching y'all grow from teenagers, silly teenagers and goofing off to become adults. That is like one of the greatest things, to where I've actually been teaching students of former students. Like I'm a grand teacher. Like I got grandchildren from, yeah, I was second generation. The hardest thing is when you try really hard and a lesson just completely falls apart, or the day didn't go the way that you wanted to, or a student gets injured or sick, or they got situations and you can't help them beyond the scope of the classroom. That's the difficult part. Like you want to save every single child, and I had to remember that I can't, and that was difficult.
What the con being a teacher?
The workload, it's a lot of paper, a lot of grading, a lot of time, a lot of working outside of my work hours. Especially when I was working with the band. I wouldn't leave school sometimes until 7 o'clock. You remember after football games, we would be at school until 10 o'clock. So it's the work, trying to manage the workload with
Yeah,
all the other things that we're required to do. That's the con.
and all that all that workload it really get off the shoulders. Like, I mean, I know you say you don't miss it, but sometimes you like. Do you ever do that? People like your class. Do they ever call you? Would they? I mean, they out and having a good time. But do they ever call you like, hey, I want my son or daughter need some help with their their homework. But do you ever get a call from their parents, or so-called former students, to
Hmm.
get that help them with their homework and stuff?
Hmm. Hmm. I get it. I get it all the time from former students. I get messages on Facebook. Miss Roskett, you saw this problem. I don't know what we're doing. I get calls about what should be happening in the classroom. I get my child is at Druid Hills. Can you go? They would bring their children by to meet me and say this was my teacher and she's watching you. Uh, to keep them out of trouble. Um, yeah, even now I still get calls from former students and we hang out. I'm always at Darnell's. Well, not always. I haven't been this year, but at Darnell's restaurant, I've been several times to his restaurant. I was out with a couple of students who turned co-workers. Like we both teach now at a birthday party. So yeah, I'm still around. They still send me messages from the class. The last class I taught are seniors now. I just got through doing some college recommendations for them. So I'm still around. They know I'm still available.
Well, speaking of Donnell, I just posted on my page and I said if anybody can reach Donnell Morgan, I can do an interview with him. Since he's doing the head chef over there.
Yeah.
I'm the only one. I am the only one have not been over there. So I want him to come up here and just talk about his business. So other than that, what you doing now after the 25-year career of being a fabulous Druid Hill teacher?
So now I go out and take everything I learned in my 25 years and train other teachers. I train them on, the math, how to structure it in your classroom, some other things that the district has going on. I work on those. Right now, I'm doing some data collection for my department to, share out today. I do a lot of like paperwork, a lot of office stuff, and some presentations. I'll be in some schools a lot in January to do some presentations. I know I'm going to Rita and High, I'm going to Salem Middle, I'm going to Stevenson Middle, I'm going to McClendon Elementary. So, just now I get to do the things where I help teachers plan their lessons and get the tools for them together and then send them on their way. And then I go back and just come back and assist.
So do you ever get so if someone comes to you and asks for advice, no matter if it's a former student or teachers now, do you ever get a call that hey, I want advice for something about something? Do you ever give any good advice to them?
I try to give good advice. For a few people, last call I had about advice was a former student who graduated in 2012. She was trying to decide should she teach high school math or should she teach middle school math. She was trying to get in to teach it, and I told her she didn't like elementary. And I told her, I said, do you remember high school math? And she said yes. I said, take the middle school test, and she passed it. She aced it. She is a teacher now at Tucker Middle School, and she was like, you were right, thank you for telling me which one to do, because this was so much. She really likes her job and she enjoys what she does.
What during school years while I was there, when people are leaving, do you ever seen people like stay late and there's like they want to have like not a conversation, but like a real good conversation about, like life and everything. You ever get, tell me about that.
Those conversations are usually ones that are like really good. And I always tell my students, now don't tell me nothing that I have to report. Like if you've been abused or you talking about harming yourself, I have to report that. But sometimes they just want a listening ear that's not their parent.
Hmm.
And I'm able to provide that perspective as a parent without, like you should do so and so, something like, well, did you ever think about this? Did you ever think about that? I miss those types of conversations. But like I said, they still email me and ask me for advice when I'm at the school. They'll come in the room where I am after school and sit with me and talk, just to keep me abreast of what's going on in their lives.
Well, let's put it way, what kind of advice you want to give to the upcoming teachers or counselors, whatever they want to be? What kind of advice you want to get to the new generation coming up this crazy world?
um this new generation, don't
Um,
don't become a teacher because you think you're getting the summers off, because that's not going to happen. um be ready to work outside of your contractual hours. Like, it's great to work in the elementary school 7:30 to 2:30, 7:30 to 3:30, but be prepared. It takes a lot of extra work. If you do it at home, if you do it at work, I would do mine at work. I wouldn't take work home, but I would end up staying until 6 o'clock. But I feel like that's what made me a better teacher and helped me keep some of the stress down. And then thirdly, just make sure you love what you do. Don't do it for a paycheck. Make sure that your end result is that you are doing it for the kids. You want to help kids become better. You want to see them grow. I wasn't trying to make every child into a mathematician. I just wanted them to see some growth. And for a lot of them, there's some now who are teaching math who thought they would never teach math. And they're like, I never thought I would teach math, but because you're here and I can help you, I can ask you for help. I know I can do it.
what's the you ever before you go to school or coming home? Do you ever sit down and think about and talk to yourself like how I done in the from the morning and the afternoon? Do you ever sit down and think about how I did so far for the year
Yeah,
and
I do it every day. It's a reflective process. A lot of it is for me to sit and just kind of center myself for the day. Sometimes it's just if I've had like a long and crazy day, I sit in my car for an hour and just scroll through the phone watching videos. But I do like to sit either in the evening when I get home or on the morning on my way to work. I will just drive in silence and reflect on everything that's happened that's got me to where I am now. And is this my final stop or am I going beyond this? Because I don't have to keep going. I can actually retire in 5 years, but I'll be pretty young. So the question is, do I keep going? Do I switch? What do I do? So I just take each day to reflect on what's happened, what was good, what was bad, what can I change, and how could I use it to grow.
do you ever write it down or you just like to memorize what you done in life, personally in school?
Sometimes I write it down. Sometimes it's just me talking in the car. It's usually just the same stuff over and over again. So once I got it written down one time, I know that it's there, and then I have to go back and reflect on how far I've come from the last time I wrote it down. So I kind of write it down, but about 80% of the time I remember it.
Like you just sit do you ever do you ever sit in the dark or you just do you ever sit in the dark or listen to music or whatever that makes you calm down
Mhm.
when you at school? What's your kind of posture when you get home or before you go to
Uh,
school? What do you do?
when I get to school, I leave the house early enough so I can sit in my car for about 10 minutes and plan out my day in my head. Or sometimes it's a good podcast I'm listening to, or they'll play one song on the radio, then another good song will come on behind that one. Coming home in the evenings, my drive is about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on what time I leave. So I will sit in the car just to decompress. It's usually listening to music, or I've been caught sitting in the driveway watching a TV show, Or sometimes I will go in the house and just watch some mindless TV show that is absolutely garbage. And people are like, why are you watching that? I was like, because I need to center my brain on something stupid. Um, and just, decompress for a while. Then I'm off to either sorority meeting or, something for church. So it's just like I just need like maybe an hour, hour and a half to kind of get my mind off of work and then focus on something else.
What make like what like one thing that you I don't want to say what nothing negative, but what's the one thing you ever done in your entire 25 year of teaching? What's the one greatest thing you ever done in Druid?
I can't say. That's hard.
I tell you, I'm putting a hard question now.
That's a hard one, Jared. I can't really say. Because I've done so much, so it's hard to say. Um,
It don't have to be anything. It don't have to be just one particular thing. Just what one of the accomplishments have you done?
um, getting some of these knuckleheads who refuse to do work to walk across the stage to graduate on time. That's been some of them we've been looking at them like we prayed you across, we prayed you through graduation, and there are some who admit that I wouldn't have made it if you hadn't stayed on me, and yeah, there are some who tell me you failed me, but that's what I needed to be failed so I could get my acting. So it I don't call those accomplishments. I call them doing my job.
Look. I say that being there. Honestly, being there in 2004. Good Lord, it's been a long time. But
That's been a long
it's
time.
like a long time being a student from Druid in '04. Well, I was supposed to be graduating in 2002, but I actually stayed in 2004. But what I learned from you is that just being a good student. I mean, I see you around. I'm not since you up on the third, since you're on the third floor, I'm on the down floor. We don't see each other that often because you working hard up there. Most of the time you see me, if I'm in the BSA meetings or
Right,
the
right.
other stuff. But um, I what the if you were now, I know your teacher, I know your classmate, your students gonna love seeing this. But what the I know you enjoy being. You like being home. You like being home more, or you like being. I know you want to stay away from the. You like being out there in the crowds.
I am a homebody. I would rather be at home. Um, but every so often, I have got to get that little bit of energy to get outside and mix with people. And once I mix with people for about an hour, I go back home.
What kind of things you do after we get out of school? I mean, not just at home. Like when you're out and about and having a good time. What kind of things you do after you get?
Um, Most of my work, like I said, is sorority volunteer work, or I'm at church working with the kids at church. Um, Mostly, I like to just hang out with my friends. Nothing in particular. We'll go out to eat. We'll go. Really, that's about it. We just like to go out to eat and just hang out,
You don't go to
just to be
movies
with
or
my
anything.
friends.
You just go from the house to
Yeah,
your friend's
I'm
house.
not a I'm not a big movie fan because usually I will be so tired I will fall asleep in the movies.
Oh,
Um, so I usually just wait until they come out and watch them at home. But I
uh-huh.
am truly a homebody. Um, I think the last movie I saw was John Wick, the last one that came out. We went to the
Uh-huh.
movies and I was fighting to stay awake then. I was like this. It's like, is it over yet? Is it over? Um,
Well,
yeah, that's about it. I just like to hang out. Like we may go to the mall, we may not buy anything, but it's mostly just fellowshipping, just being around people that I like to be around.
what's the last what? Have you seen any teachers since you left Drew Hills?
Um, like I said, I've been over there every week, just about. I don't see them as often in the streets. Um, I usually see them when I'm up there visiting, but I see some that used to work there that have like moved on into district positions. I see them in the district, but I don't see them a lot outside, except for my best friend. Like I actually just saw her yesterday. I picked up her daughters, and yeah, so she's the only person I see on a regular basis.
Does your daughter go to Drew Hills? Or
No, her daughters are in elementary school. They go to Fernbank, so I picked them up, and they spent the night with me, and then I took them to school this morning.
no, no, it helped. Okay.
Yeah.
Do they ever, uh, I didn't think, do you ask them any question about like what you want to do and what when they grow up or anything? If they like sit down and have a conversation with you?
Right now, one wants to be a fashion designer, and they're nine. They're twins. So one
Okay.
wants to be a fashion designer, and she's been saying that since she was about three. The other one says she wants to be a doctor, and she's been saying that since she was about five. So um they're right now that's what they're sticking with, fashion designer and a doctor.
Wow. And are they going? I'm going to put it with. Are they going to stick their idea, or are they going to change it when they turn their teenage
Who
years?
knows? They're nine. There is no telling. One, I think, is going to stick with the fashion design because she just asked me again for the third year in a row for a sewing machine for Christmas.
But sewing machine. So, so we got a doctor, we got a fashion designer. Who's so who gonna bring you now? I won't. Who gonna do your hair? Who be doing your hair?
They think they can, and that's why my hair is braided to keep them from playing. Because when my hair is not braided, they love to play in my hair, and I'm like, ooh, child. They don't like to do their own hair, like so. Yeah, we don't know.
Well, okay, let's put it this way. If the twins don't, if the kids don't stick with their their hobby, do they want if they want do they want to follow your footsteps being a teacher or a nurse or
I don't.
anything?
I don't know because their mom is a teacher. Their dad was a teacher. He's an assistant principal. Their grandma was a teacher. Their aunt is a teacher. Their great aunt was a teacher. So their grandfather was a teacher and a principal. So they just come from a line of educators. So it's probably in their blood and they don't know it yet.
That one long history of being
Yes,
teachers. I'm there.
yes.
Oh,
They are
somehow,
surrounded by teachers.
well, somewhere down the road, they gonna make a decision how they gonna do that. Cause I don't know. But anyway, but what's as we finish up this conversation and everything, what kind do you have any final thoughts or remarks or anything for this live
No,
and that kind of stuff?
no, I just thank you for having me this morning as I'm sitting here in my office. That's a good thing. I do have office hours now, so I can kind of stop and do stuff. But when I was in the classroom, it was go, 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 go. But now I can kind of breathe and pace my work at my own schedule.
Oh, but that, do the teacher, I mean, not the teachers, do the principals in the Miss Willow or Miss Meriwether, she, oh, Mary Race, by the way, she, oh, Mary Race. But do your teacher, I mean, do your principals ever, like, get on you sometime, let's say, hey, we do they ever get on you sometime, um, certain days and, like, they want to talk to you about something? I mean, do we ever get frustrated?
Uh, I did a couple of times, not a lot, and it was usually about something from a parent. It was nothing that I specifically did. It was a parent had a complaint or a
Mm-hmm.
parent asked a question. And I would just be like, oh, wait a minute, let me give you all the information. So it was, no, I was rarely, one who stayed in trouble. It was always something concerning a student.
Do you ever like want the students ever when you start going papers and some people like some students don't like to see a C or a D plus. You ever do the like students ever come up and like, hey, I did better than this. Like, do you ever like get in your face like you need to do better than this?
They do. They have tried, and I've been able to say, okay, well, if you think you deserve better than this, do this, and they still can't do it. So, or I give them an opportunity to retake it, and it's the same result, or very few retake it and do better. They do. It happens every time. And it always happens in the month of November and December because grades are due in December.
Wow, that I know it. And I'd like to say, he came a long way from being a teacher and getting confused about you being a student and do it at the school. And I'm like, okay, so I would appreciate all the you took the time off. I'm like, I look. The reason I had to, okay, I need someone from Druid. I need someone from Druid. I need to put it on my channel because I have not wanted. I want to. I want to know the real Red Sox. I do. People people think that people think they do, but they really don't. So I'm glad they had the opportunity to get to know you like for real, for real. You know,
Of course,
I'm
Jared.
happy to do that. So this is my YouTube channel. Actually, this is my interview channel.
Okay.
So you just go and subscribe to this one. In my main channel is Jarrett Talk. I'm going live. I'm actually going live tonight at 6 o'clock. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm just honored to have you on my channel. I miss you, Miss Law. I really do. Cause my teacher, you know, Coach Sadler. Every
Yeah.
time he comes over, come over and get mad. We always talk about you all the time. Like, she I can't believe, it. But yeah, I just thank for the honor to have you on my channel, and your students gonna love this channel. We'll love this interview.
Thank you for having me, Jared. I'm so
So I
glad
will
you
have
thought
you
about
up
me.
very soon again. If you're ever free, you just inbox me and say, hey, I want to do another interview with you. I mean, a little pop up on you,
I will
and
definitely let you
I
know.
did come up here with you. So.
Okay.
But yeah, I love you. I miss you. I
I
hope I'm
love
gonna
you and I
see
miss
you.
you
I'll
too.
see you very soon. So, all
Okay.
right, I'll drop you
All
down.
right.
Bye
Okay. Bye.
bye. Well, y'all, that was my teacher, Mary Ross, my Lord. I hadn't seen her in a long time. I hadn't seen her a long time. I hadn't seen her a long time. It's been a good minute. 25 years. It's been 25 years. Wow, it's amazing. But other than that, it's been a great life so far. I'm enjoying these interviews, and I appreciate the. Uh, um, no, she don't. I was gonna ask her, but I didn't get a chance to do that. But I will definitely. As a matter of fact, the next time I have her up here, sure, I um I will see if she does, but I didn't get a chance to ask that. I forgot. But the next time I have her up here, matter of fact, I'll inbox her and see if she does. But I'll let you know. I DM you about that. Okay. So but yeah, it's but other than that, I forgot to do the interview last on the 13th because I came home late. So the 21st, we will have an interview on the 21st and the 28th. So we'll finish that on 28th. Will be the last interview of the year. The last interview of the year, and then we'll start back up January the 4th. We'll have another such a guest, new and fresh content creators. I mean, been longer than content creators, you'll see them coming this new year. So the 21st and 28th are the last two interviews. I'm gonna get no, I'm sorry. I'm totally forgot. The 19th, I'm sorry, the 19th, I'm gonna have an interview. Then the 21st, I'm gonna have an interview. Then the 22nd, the 20 and the 28th. I'm sorry, I forgot the other two. So I'm gonna have a church interview, a business interview, a YouTuber interview, and a business interview. So those four interviews are intact. So if I get any if I have any changes, I'll let people know. But right now I am good. I'm good with the last four, and I am taking a break from the interview until the new year. I'm not taking an interview. I'll be here on the big channel. I'll be here on the big channel, but I will not be on here I will not be interviewing until this year. So I am out of here. I see y'all tonight on the big channel, and we're gonna have a lot. We're gonna have a lot to talk about. We're gonna have a lot to talk about. We're gonna have a lot to talk about. I'm hyped for tonight. So tonight, 6 p.m. Let people know, share this thing out, and they get this thing to 2K on the big channel. They get this interview channel on the 200. Let's do it. All right, Jarrett talks out. Peace.